What was I doing? I don't remember. Oh my gosh, it's a pattern interruption. Okay. Sometimes all you need to do is interrupt a person's pattern and they automatically go into trance. I'll give you an example. There's a famous hypnotic induction called a handshake induction. Okay? Milton Erickson used to do this all the time. Richard Bandler did this. Matter of fact, I'll even find some videos and post it here of the handshake pattern interruption. You go to shake the hand of the person, but instead of shaking their hands normally, you grab their hand by the wrist. Nobody does that. You see, a handshake is an automatic behavior. If you bring up your hand, someone else is going to bring their hand. They're expecting you to complete the handshake. But if you grab them by the wrist and you put some light pressure and you turn it and start pushing their hand upward and giving them the suggestion, oh, that's right. Now as your hand rises, your eyes are getting heavy. And you do that with full congruence, they're going to go out right away. So that's a pattern interruption. Incidentally, at the end, you can complete the handshake, just bring their hand down, shake their hand, look them straight in the eye and say, my name is Dr. Kilstein, nice to meet you. And they will have complete amnesia for what came in between. That's really cool when you give people amnesia. Years ago, I worked with someone who was a type A personality, like me, and they had a problem where they would get physically ill whenever they would try to do public speaking. And I did hypnosis with them, and the person said when they came out of trance, oh, I wasn't in trance, I remember every single thing that you said. I said, okay, no problem, let's do it again. We did it again. We went into hypnosis, they came out and they said, I wasn't in trance, I remembered every single thing that you said. I said, okay, would you mind changing seats with me? I changed seats with them because right in back of me was a clock. I didn't want them to look at it. And I did some hypnotic work, and I did a lot of amnesia work. And the person came out of the trance and said, well, you know, that was deeper than before, but I definitely was not in trance. And I said, you know, I guess you just have that. Your brain is so smart that you cannot be hypnotized. I'm just so impressed. But by the way, how long would you say that we were talking? And she said, not more than a minute, minute and a half. That was very, very short. And then all of a sudden she knew I wouldn't have asked that question. She spun around in her chair and she looked at the clock, and it was 25 minutes later. And I said, oh. She goes, that's 25 minutes. I went, I thought it was a minute, minute and a half. So she looked at me with a puzzled look, and I said, by the way, what did we talk about? She said, that's easy, we talked about. I said, yeah. What else did we talk about? We talked about. And she looked at me, and I said, I guess you can't be hypnotized. And she just laughed. Months later, she gave a speech. And before she gave the speech, I wandered by her table. And I said, how are you doing? And she said, I'm fine. Why are you asking? And she gave the speech. She went around the room. Everybody was congratulating her on a brilliant speech. And she walked the long way. So she came past my table. And she came up to me and she goes, I know why you asked me how I was doing. And I said, you do? And she said, you know, I don't think it had anything to do with hypnosis. My problem just went away the day after I saw you. I went, wow, it's a good thing you got lucky. Because sometimes people have that attitude that, you know, it's not hypnosis. Whatever they want to believe. Okay, so pattern interruptions, which is what we're talking about. See, I remember. Did you remember we're talking about pattern interruptions? Pattern interruptions can be really powerful. And they're really powerful in audio, and they're really powerful in video. But don't make them obvious. Don't say, we interrupt this message for a, in one of those typical radio type commercial scams. Don't do that. Interrupt the reader's patterns with something shocking, and at that moment, give them something that they aren't expecting. The information will go right in. This is Harlan Kilstein from NLP Copywriting, 30 Days of Communications Excellence. See you tomorrow.